How's it going, Ben?
How's it going, Ben? How's it going, Ben? I know 3 Panama parrots with bigger vocabularies. We don't want no trouble, Ben.
What's going to happen is that a big spaceship is going to land outside this door. And a little guy with green antenna is going to get out and come right in here. But he won't be coming in here for a drink. No, he'll be coming in here to judge.
Are we worth it? Or should he just disintegrate us and move on to someplace else?
I'm going to spot you boys. Now, what good word you got for him? What deep, moving, persuasive, intelligence-saving communication you got for him?
Hi, boy. How's it going, boy? And pow! Goodbye, world. Let's get out of here. We'll see you outside.
Bye, boys.
Okay, friends, that's enough of that feuding stuff. It's loving time. All you newlyweds, join hands and let's dance. We'll make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep. But sleep won't come the whole night. Your cheating heart will tell when tears come down like falling rain. You'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor, though we are doomed. You're cheating heart.
I'm already 10 minutes late. Why don't you drop us off at the theater and then you can look for him yourself? David, I'll even let you help me turn on one of the spotlights. You know, backstage can be a pretty exciting place, especially on opening night. You'll see.
Ben here?
Ben who?
Okay. Somebody there, Margaret?
No, Father.
Ben? Hey, you ever seen Oasis, Link, old buddy? Well, you're it. Palm trees, camels, water wells. The whole scene right in the dead center of this desert. Make you thirsty? Come on.
Later, Ben, afterwards.
Uh-huh.
She needs you, Ben.
But do I need her?
She's having your baby, Ben.
You pile of water. Like they taught us in the Rangers, Link? You want to try for the kill or the be killed? Huh?
Doesn't anybody like you?
It just isn't my night.
I know that feeling.
Drink?
Let's walk.
David, look what I came up with. Come on. You gotta eat something now. I promised your mother I'd look after you. You don't want me to go back on my word, do you?
What's a Don John?
The Don Juan? Well, he's a man. A special kind of man. One who... Well, like the man in the opera tonight, only Mozart called him Don Giovanni.
You ought to see Jack Morgan. 2 black guys. Mary Oliver. Boy, did I beat her up.
Did you beat up a girl?
She's about the toughest kid in school, but I took her. They said my dad was like the man in this opera.
David, if you didn't know what that meant, why did you have to fight?
It's the way they said it. What's this opera all about, Mr. Stiles?
Well, this man, this Don Giovanni, he gets around, you know. I mean, he travels a lot. He meets a lot of people.
My dad stays right here with us. Except when he was in the army.
Well, some of the people this Don Giovanni meets have dads too, David. And one of them gets into a duel with Don Giovanni and gets killed. And then his daughter wants revenge the same way you wanted revenge with Jack Morgan and Mary Oliver. That's the way opera is, you know. One thing leads to another. And eventually, a stone statue of this man Don Giovanni killed, the girl's father, gets down off the pedestal and he comes to the Don's house for dinner. I guess you might call him a stone guest. Anyway, he asks the Don to repent.
What's repent?
Well, to say sorry. Don Giovanni just laughs at him. So the statue carries Don Giovanni away to hell.
Wait till I see Mary Oliver Monday. I'll beat her up all over again.
Almost 1,000 feet.
Almost 900. How'd you figure it?
Well, the speed of a falling object remains constant. So if you count the seconds and multiply... You think I'm a school teacher?
Around women, I never think.
My name is Hazel. Hazel Quine.
Well, Hazel Quine, I'm all through busting things up for tonight.
I saw you in that bar, and something said to me, get up, Hazel, and follow him. Get out of that chair right this minute and talk to him. I felt if I didn't, I'd never do anything all my life.
Yeah, well, we all have our problems, Mrs. Quine.
Mrs.? Do I look married?
You want to pick up some easy money, Miss Quine? You tell him in town that Ben Belden said to a new woman, a woman he'd never even held hands with, let's forget it.
You get 100 to 1 odds in any saloon. I'd never say a thing like that.
Are you sure?
You're a very handsome woman, but you're pressing. A man doesn't like that.
Can we go down in the mine?
It's dangerous.
Good.
That's how I got it so cheap. Rotten timber, shaft cut through heaving ground, an elevator that's due to bust loose any minute. And 9 men still buried down there from 10 years ago. They're buried somewhere below the 1,100-foot level under tons of country rock.
Mr. Belden, I've lived on top of the earth for 41 years.
I'll tell you something, Miss Quine. You're a pretty crazy kid.
Ben will be right along, Nora. He got hung up at the mine. Some of our charges didn't fire right, and he had to mark them. 15, 20 minutes, he'll be along. Oh, yeah. By the way, he said to go ahead without him.
He tell you he never wanted this baby? He wouldn't even help me pick a name. David, that's the only one he picked. Our 2 little girls, Jeannie and Steffi. I had to name them.
Did they eat their dinner, Mrs. Winters? Like 2 hungry grizzlies. They're sound asleep at my house with Mr. Winters in the parlor. In case they wake up, don't you worry about them.
You're just about out of time, Nora. We're going to mean instruments, and that means the hospital.
I told you I'm going to have this baby right here.
Wouldn't be the money, would it, Nora?
I'm going to prove this to him. Don't you see that? All the time he keeps saying if he only could get a few dollars ahead. He says I just go looking for bills to keep him broke. It takes money to raise a family. You'd think he'd realize that. I'm going to prove it to him that I can save his money.
I'm your obstetrician, not your marriage counselor. I'm taking you out of here, and that's that.
I won't go. I won't go.
E se ti piaci innanzi non più
Restati magro, nell'ezzo modo, e s'increbrebro di santità.
Viva le femmine, viva il buon vino, sostegno e gloria d'umanità, sostegno e gloria d'umanità.
E sempre rivengo nel sole
there, just past that drill. That's bedrock. 100 feet thick. Over there, that's the neck of the bottle. With a 10,000-ton cork plugged in.
David?
Where's David?
Not here? Well, he'll be along when he runs out of tears. You know, he needed to see that opera tonight.
Not yet.
How's Belden taking it, or did you ever find him?
He'll be here.
Any other man that stayed out on a night like this, you'd peg for a monster, but not good old Ben. Which commandment hasn't he broken? Just because he was at Fort Riley the same time you were, that's hardly the tie that binds. I don't get it, Link. You've got a pretty hard-nosed set of principles with a lot less bend to them than I have. But if you're finally going to allow there's a big swing between absolute right and absolute wrong, if you're finally going to come down off the judgment seat, why let yourself get conned by an out-and-out stinker?
Maybe I understand what's bugging him. Maybe the Army opened him up like it did me. When he came back, there wasn't enough room for him here. He knows there's something else. There's something different, something bigger. He knows you have to look for it. You have to go out and look.
So let him look. What's stopping him?
A wife, 3 kids, and 1 more coming tonight.
Most of the men in this country, Link, have wives and kids. If he wants to break out, let him take his family and go.
Well, I'm afraid we just made Aristotle very unhappy. Quoting Mr. A, we must look upon the female character as being a sort of natural deficiency. Unquote. I just delivered a perfectly healthy natural deficiency weighing 8 pounds.
I didn't hear her cry. Don't all babies cry when they're born?
This one didn't.
Maybe she heard about her father and decided silence was the wisest course.
Nora wants you, Link.
Do you need anything, Nora?
No, just my husband.
It's okay. That's something.
Stay down and cover your ears. Somebody in town may hear this. I didn't blow that charge just for an alarm. I expected it to clear this jam up. Still 100 feet of shaft below this level. This stuff should have fallen free unless...
Unless the whole shaft just caved in?
Well, they found King Tut, didn't they? All I gotta do is use my air hammer. Between it and the dynamite down here, I can blow 4 feet of facing every 8 hours. At that rate, I should be able to break into the quarterly owned mine next door in a small matter of 200 hours. Only 2 little items that lost that up. One, there's no air pressure for the drill. And 2, not enough air down here for more than 2 days.
You know, it's strange. But for the first time in my life, I feel free. And somehow very happy.
We were up pretty late last night. When we got back, Hazel wasn't there. We've got this camper parked up on the ridge. We're from Idaho. Anyway, we figured she was still out sightseeing.
You figured.
It's been a little rough on Hazel.
It's been a little rough on me, too. How would you like to take a third person along on your honeymoon?
Hazel's not a third person. She's my sister. And I owe her plenty.
Look, kids.
Anyway, this morning Hazel's not back. Sheriff, that's not like Hazel.
Last night, I saw her pick up a man in the bar and leave with him.
Don't pay any attention to her.
What did the man look like?
He was a minor, 49er. Only he was much younger than Hazel. Actually, he was kind of cute. But wild, you know?
I think maybe I know the man.
So you're beginning to bite me.
Hazel wouldn't pick up a man. It's crazy. I tell you, something's happened to her.
There's been a cave-in at Ben's claim. The lift's buried at the bottom of the shaft and Ben's pickup's parked up there.
I'll get Charlie Prager. He'll know what to do. I hope you're wrong, son, and I hope your bride's wrong, too, because if your sister did introduce herself to a man last night, and the man's the one I think, well, I just hope we're all wrong.
Hey, just tell me, Sheriff. Just come right out and say it.
His name's Ben Bellin, if that's who she met. And right now, son, she may be a long ways underground.
You and Ben been working on the 9th tunnel?
Yes, sir. Following the ore rise he found last month.
As far as I can see, looks clear halfway down. I think it started about 4th level. Always was a lot of loose slag around there, all the way down to 7th. I used to warn Eddie Haggett when he had this claim to sprag those slabs. That's how come he and those other men are still down there. Same thing over again. Unless Ben was in one of those tunnels when it happened. Ted, I'll need to use your car radio.
Sure. He doesn't seem so bad now, does he? Like guys in my outfit who got killed. No matter how cruddy they'd been the second before, once they were dead, they were okay. They were back in, forgiven. Why is that, Todd?
Are you asking me, Linc, or accusing me?
Is that the only answer for guys like Ben?
We're not sure she's down there, son. No reason for you to stay around up here. This place is going to get awful crowded in the next half hour. People and equipment. You'd be easier back in town.
I'll wait, Sheriff. I'll just wait.
I read once that it's the custom in some parts of the world for the friends of a dying person to gather around the deathbed and remind him of all his good deeds. It's a kind of sacrament to help him pass through the gates of heaven.
You got a lot of moxie.
There's Howard. He's only 2 years younger than I am. And Lester. And Lauren. And Ronnie. And now, Jimmy. My 5 brothers. All grown up. All married, all living their own lives. As it should be. As I taught them to do. I wonder which of my good deeds they'd remind me of now. The sparkling sink. The glistening bathtub. The scoured roasting pan. My pumpkin pie. All the dust that I chased out of the corners for 25 years. Since Mom and Papa died. Oh. Isn't that a stunning list of good deeds, Ben? We'll never forget what you've done for us, Hazel. Ronnie said that just last week after the preacher had married Jimmy and Sue. Here's a little check for you, Hazel. Just for you. It was $500. See, they each chipped in $100. And it doesn't come easy, money in Centralville. Well, I looked at that check and I began to cry. Oh, come on, sis. It's the least we can do for you after all you've done for us. Not only that, Lester. Yeah, I distinctly remember it was Lester that said that. Not only that, he said, Jimmy and Sue want you to go with them on their honeymoon. I couldn't do that. I said, my goodness, they'd want to be alone. Why, Hazel, you've never even seen a mountain. Lauren said that. And then Jimmy said, come on, Hazel. Sue and I want you to go with us. Why, shucks, you're not going to get in our way. It was sort of like an epitaph. Here lies Hazel Quine. She never got in the way. See, they didn't understand why I cried. Well, they thought I was touched, you know, by the check. But I cried because all of a sudden I realized that they were saying goodbye to me, that I'd been retired, that this was my gold watch. Oh, why do they always give gold watches to people when they retire? Is it so they can count the little time they have left and guard each fugitive second? And then I saw you in that bar. And I heard you talking to that young man in the street. I know you're married and your wife is having a baby and you didn't want to go home. I don't know why you didn't want to go home. But that doesn't matter now either. Please.
I'm sorry, Hazel, I'm sorry. But you're not just any woman, not anymore. You're honest. You're special. See, when I take a girl out, it's just to shock people around here. To get back at Nora. Or to make myself feel rotten and cheap. But don't you see, Hazel, I don't hate you.
About 100 feet of fill jammed in down there. Let's get hammering on this air pipe.
Right. Look at it.
Hold it, Pete.
Is there anything you want to tell me, Mr. Prager?
Doc!
No use arguing with her, Charlie.
Got nothing to report, Nora. Neither good nor bad. We're doing everything we know to do. We'll see.
Where's Link?
Show Mrs. Belden where her case is. All right, Pete.
You stay with Doctor.
Link, the lady wants to see you.
You'll be going back down there pretty soon, won't you?
As soon as Charlie's got the airline set.
You'll be able to talk to Ben through the line, won't you? I mean, if he's still alive.
I hope so, Nora.
When you were in the army with him, Did he ever talk to you about me?
No. And I didn't talk to him about Lander, Texas, or my mother and father.
All right, from the very first day when he came back, I knew there was a restlessness. But I knew I had to hold on tight, or I'd lose him. So I held on in all kinds of ways by having as many babies as fast as I could. Find a way to spend it as soon as we got a few dollars ahead. Getting him to buy the house whenever he began to talk about leaving here and, trying Denver. I even pushed him into buying this claim. So, will you tell him for me? Tell him now that I'm sorry that I tried to hold him. I should have let him go years ago. If that's what he wanted, I should have let him decide. So you tell him if he lives, if he comes back, that he's free. He's finally free.
Stop the hammering. Hold off on the hammering. Feels like the lines hit a solid wall. One of those slabs must be lying smack across the shaft. Case, how long's number 9 tunnel?
Well, we've extended it 20 feet, plus the 50 that was in before Ben took over the claim.
You'll run out of air between 6 and 7 o'clock. 2 now. All right. We'll hold off on the air pipe till we get this stuff cleared between us and the slab. From here in, every minute counts. By 4 o'clock, we'd better reach the slab. By 5, she has to be drilled and blown clear.
I should have taken it off. As far as I know, it's still Sunday. As far as I know, nobody's figured out where we are. So we have a choice. We can sit here and wait. Keep breathing for as long as we can. Keep hoping. Or I can plant enough of this stuff in that blockage to blow this whole mountain down. Of course, there is a slight disadvantage. It might come down on our heads. But then again, it might not. It just might not. It might clear that shaft and get us some air. So, that's the program, Hazel.
I've sat, Ben. For 41 years, I've sat.
You mean whatever I say is okay?
I've been thinking about that opera.
I'm going into town, David. Do you want anything?
God sent Don Gillen to hell, didn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe Jack Morgan was right, and Mary Oliver. Maybe my dad did bad things. Maybe that's why God put him in a deep hole.
David, if that's true, then all the more reason to stand up for your dad.
I'd ask him what he did to make God so mad at him, if he was here. Some people say maybe they won't get him up. What did he do wrong?
It's not a question of right and wrong. It's a question of why. Matter of fact, at first I made the same mistake that Jack Morgan and Mary Oliver did. Then I had a talk with my friend Linc, you know, and he told me some things that made me look at your dad a different way.
What things?
See, some people always know what's right and wrong. They like to set people straight, make sure everybody follows the rules. These people, in a way, they're very lucky. They don't have to think very much. They're always sure about everything. But your father wasn't so lucky, David. To him, right and wrong kept crossing the lines and bumping into each other. But let me tell you something. That put him in the company of a lot of good people. Thinking, feeling, sensitive people. Now, another thing. The crowd says, sure, it's hard to know right from wrong, but not all the time. Sometimes you know what's right, so why don't you do it? The answer to that is this, I think. One of the things the good people do for other good people, like when somebody falls down and you give them a hand, or like when you say good morning, and really what you mean is I'm glad to see you. One of these things is to know a man is trying, and to applaud the try, not just judge the result. And the third thing you can say about your father, David, is that he never ran away from his troubles, and he could have, but he never tried to solve them in the dark. Now, those are three big points to give a man, David. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Any of it?
Not all the words, but the sound of it.
What are you thinking about, Ben?
I told you before, around women I never think. Well, okay. For a few minutes there I was thinking about praying. For a few minutes there I was thinking about making a deal. Get us out of here. From then on I walked the straight and narrow. But then I thought, a few days will pass and there I'll be. Just back where I was before, so... The way it works out for me is no deal. I'll do what I have to do, he'll do what he has to do. There's only one thing. You. You've done nothing, Hazel, to hurt anybody.
Is it ready, Ben? I've heard it said that we can only get to heaven by ourselves, on our own. If that's true, it's the saddest thing that ever was.
Let's find out.
Tod, they just told me you were leaving the second night of the season. Why?
Now that Ben Belden's dead, I don't think I could stand seeing him condemned to hell 7 nights a week. Thanks for the job, Mr. Bond.
Somebody, once in a while.
A Screen Gems presentation. Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.